Hello everyone and welcome back to the Barrel and our series where we analyse each AFL club's 2024 fixture, identify potential breakout players and set a realistic passing mark for their 2024 season. Today we have the Fremantle Dockers. Freo had a very disappointing 2023 after finishing 5th in 2022. Justin Longmuir's under an extraordinary amount of pressure heading into the season to drive them out of this slump and get them back into the finals. Can they do it? That's the question that we'll be answering today. So let's take a quick look back at their 2023 and see what lies ahead for them in 2024.
In 2023, the Dockers finished 14th on the ladder with 10 wins and 13 losses. They had a very up and down year. They just couldn't seem to string any wins together, apart from their 4-win streak between rounds 8 and 11. The season, I think, for them was more defined based on what they saw from their young players and strong campaigns from their regular guns. Jaya Miss really impressed, kicking 41 goals, which is spectacular for a struggling side. Hayden Young moved into the midfield and looked spectacular late in the year. Brayshaw, Sarong and Luke Ryan were at their usual best. Brayshaw maybe had a bit of a down year, which is still better than most players in the competition. And Luke Jackson hit another level when Sean Darcy went out. So fans will be hoping that their young crop continue to develop and their established stars progressively get better to ensure that they have a better year in 2024. Their 2024 fixture is ranked the 12th hardest. They have one bye in round 13. They have trips to Melbourne 5 times throughout the year. They go to Tasmania, Adelaide twice, including a back-to-back against Carlton in Gather Round, and then the next week against Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval, which is quite brutal. They go to the Northern Territory as well as Sydney. For their double-ups, they play Melbourne, Port Adelaide, Richmond, Sydney, West Coast, and the Dogs twice. Melbourne and Port Adelaide I expect to be right in the 8 yet again. They could slide down the ladder for many different reasons. Melbourne mainly for off-field discipline. You don't know how that's going to affect their club culture, but I still expect them to make the finals. Port Adelaide, there's been some talk around them missing the finals. They've been quite volatile since Ken Hinkley has been in charge, so it's a bit of a wait and see there. Richmond look to slide down the ladder, although with Adam Uze, you never really know what's in store for them, how they're going to play. So they could improve slightly or fall down the ladder, which is much more likely. Sydney have done some major recruiting in the off-season, picking up Taylor Adams, Brodie Grundy and Joel Hamling, among others, to fill some holes they needed on field. So they look to shoot up the ladder and get back to where they were in 2022 when they made the grand final. West Coast, coming off one of the worst years you could possibly have, they will be looking to improve and beware the wounded eagle, as I say. They would not be a fun team to play when all their young players are firing, as we saw in spurts last year at Optus Stadium when they challenged some great teams. And the Western Bulldogs, you never really know what they're going to get. Their list is as good as any on paper, but they never seem to translate that onto on-field success. So let's hope 2024 for them could be the year that they finally start to do it. If they do, that is not a good double-up. The good thing about their double-ups is that there's no set-in-stone top 4 side in there, which is very lucky for them. A lot of the other clubs, weaker clubs, you'd say, are playing at least one, so that's very good from their respect. They play 12 games at Optus Stadium, and overall, I'd say it's a very fair fixture. The only negative is that they played 2 top 6 sides twice, which does seem a bit rough seeing as where they finished in 2023. And also, a big win is getting Brisbane out of the way in round 1 and not having to go to the Gabba, which is pretty much a guaranteed loss for any opposing side. They do play a lot of games at low capacity venues such as UTAS and TIO stadiums, so that's always rough for supporters. But that was the decision of the AFL, so it is what it is. Now, for their breakout players, there's 3 real standouts. Hayden Young, he's already had a fantastic tenure as a half-back. He moved into the midfield late last year and looked like a natural. He's one of the most beautiful left boots in the league, He's a smooth mover and has all the composure in the world. He fits right into the young core midfield of stars that Fremantle already have and will be a part of their next successful period, I'm sure. Jai Amiss, who I've mentioned before, fresh off a 41-goal campaign. 2024 could be the year that he established himself as one of the most promising and reliable young forwards in the league. He's a great mark, a great mover with his skinny frame, and a lethal set shot, so he has all the ingredients to do so. He may be limited in his opportunities to kick goals if Freo remain a bottom half side, but seeing as he kicked 41 in a poor side last year, anything can happen as he continues to improve. And finally, a bit of a smoky here, but Sam Sturt, a similar tall forward to Amiss, played 14 games for 19 goals in 2023 after managing only 4 games in the 3 years prior. The departure of Lockie Schultz and the regression of Michael Walters places an increased role on both him and Amiss to be reliable goal kickers in the forward line. And I think Sturt will find a way to break in the team and have a similar year to Amiss of 2023, as the potential he has is absolutely sky high. Speaking of potential, with the potential that the Dockers have, I'd say that top 12 is a realistic pass mark for the team. They've got plenty of talent and star power all around their list, but I'm just not sure if they can reach the heights of 2022 again based on what we saw in 2023. Their forward line's quite decent. Obviously, I've already mentioned Sturt and Amiss many times. But around them, they have some quality small forwards in Michael Frederick, Fife when he's not injured, Michael Walters and Switkowski. They also have some prominent tall targets in Luke Jackson or Sean Darcy when they swing between the ruck, and Josh Tracy to steer the ship. I definitely wouldn't consider this one of the stronger forward lines in the competition, but it can certainly perform well if each piece plays well. Their midfield, as I think with many clubs, is their strongest part of the ground. They got 2 proven A-graders in there, Brayshaw and Sarong. Hayden Young, I'm sure, will make 3 by the end of the year. And they also have 2 quality ruckmen in Luke Jackson and Sean Darcy. O'Meara and Aish on the wings, it's decent. However, I think it could definitely be stronger. They also have a few pinch hitters who could fit into that midfield, such as Chapman, Matthew Johnson, and Erasmus, who I don't think will make the team. So the future looks bright in the middle. And their backline is also quite strong and well-rounded. Alex Pearce and Brennan Cox are the main lockdown men there, supported by Luke Ryan as a quality interceptor. Corey Wagner and Walker fit well in the back flank, and Jordan Clark is a speed demon off the half back. As I said before, the backline looks fantastic and performs quite well, so it'll be up to the other parts of the ground to support them if they are to win more games in 2024. I'm very intrigued to see how the Dockers go next year. Will they achieve what they did in 2022, or is another subpar year on the cards? Check out our Best 22 video in the description for an idea of who we have making their final team. But that'll do it. Join us next time as we analyse Geelong for season 2024. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.